Nobody said this was going to be easy, and if somebody told you it would be, they lied to you before you even got started. There are challenges coming that are going to knock you flat. That's simply the arrangement none of us got to negotiate. You put on the mask every single day, the one that says you've got it together, the one that gets you through the meeting, the one that keeps everybody else comfortable. And then the door closes behind you at night, and you're lying in that bed with nobody left to perform for. And that's when the fear finally shows up uninvited. You don't know what's coming next. Nobody fully does. But for you right now, that uncertainty has teeth, and it's been chewing on your peace of mind for longer than you've admitted out loud. So let me ask you the real question underneath all of it. Do you still have hope? Or did you quietly let it go somewhere along the way without telling anybody? Because here's the truth that applies to every single person. Breathing air right now. At some point, everything is going to collapse around you at the same time. It's going to feel coordinated, like the universe planned it that way on purpose. And in that exact moment, you're going to hear a voice inside you say, "This is it. This is finally the thing that ends me." You get to decide what happens next. You can accept that sentence as final, or you can stand up and get to work. That's the whole decision. Nothing more complicated than that. You begin. That's it. You don't need the entire plan mapped out before you take the first step. You solve the problem sitting directly in front of you, and then you move to the next one, and then the one waiting behind that. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down along the way, because you will get knocked down. That part isn't optional for anybody who's actually trying to build something. What's optional is whether you stay down. That part belongs entirely to you. Whatever you're going through right now, whatever's sitting heavy on your chest tonight, hear this clearly. It did not come to move in permanently. It came to pass through, the same way every hard season before it eventually did. Even the ones you were certain at the time you'd never survive. Sometimes the strongest move available to you isn't pushing harder. It's stepping back, going quiet, praying if that's your language, meditating if that's yours, simply getting still enough to recharge. Whatever's been drained out of you by the fight, clear your head completely, and then come back to the exact same problem from higher ground than you were standing on before. Don't make your biggest decisions while you're still under the spell of whatever emotion currently has hold of you. That's when the worst calls get made, not because you're foolish, but because emotion, left unchecked, has a way of narrating a story more dramatic than the actual facts support. We're emotional beings, all of us, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a real difference between feeling something fully and being ruled by it completely, and that difference gets built through discipline, not through luck. Leave your emotions undisciplined, and they will use you as their vehicle instead of the other way around. Here's something worth sitting with. You don't have to try to spiral. You don't have to force yourself into guilt, into self-punishment, into replaying the worst version of every story on a loop. Your mind will do all of that automatically, without a single ounce of effort required from you. That's the default setting. But if you actually want to move toward the version of yourself capable of real greatness, you have to be willing to swim against that current on purpose. You have to grab hold of your own will and say, out loud if you need to, in spite of everything currently happening to me, I am still the one in control here. This will not be the thing that ends me. I am coming back from this, whatever this costs me. Everybody says they want to be exceptional. Everybody says they want the version of life that looks like it belongs to somebody special. Tell me something new. Wanting it was never the rare part. The rare part is that most people who want it don't actually get it. And the reason has nothing to do with permission being withheld from them. Nobody's holding a gun to anybody's head, forbidding them from chasing the life they say they want. It comes down to will. It comes down to the hard work nobody's clapping for. It comes down to sacrifice, to dedication that doesn't waver just because the results are taking longer than expected. The gap between the people who make it and the people who quietly settle was never written into anyone's genetic code. It's the person who's willing to get knocked down by circumstances that had every intention of finishing them off, and still, somehow, finds a way back to their feet. Perseverance decides that outcome. Not talent, not luck, not the family you were born into. The never say die attitude that refuses to accept the first no as the final answer. We already know what's coming. We know the road ahead is going to demand more than we think we currently have to give. We know there's discomfort waiting somewhere, between where we're standing now and where we're actually trying to end up. We know certain people, certain circumstances, certain seasons are going to try their absolute hardest to break something in us before we ever reach the part of the story worth telling anybody about. So let's decide now ahead of time, before any of that arrives, that we're walking through it victorious. Not because the battle will be easy, because we already decided the outcome before the fight even started. Don't let the tears talk you into quitting. Cry if you need to. That's simply part of being human, not a weakness to hide from. But keep walking through the tears instead of letting them convince you to sit down where you are. You're already in pain. You've already paid a portion of the cost. So make sure you walk away from that pain with something to show for it, instead of walking away with nothing but the scar and the memory of having given up right before it would have paid off. You are not going to die from a little discomfort, no matter how loud it screams at you tonight. Tell yourself plainly, I will not give up. And when the depression shows up out of nowhere, uninvited, heavier than anything you were braced for, say it again, I will not give up. There is no guarantee anywhere written down that a person currently struggling stays there permanently. Nobody has the standing to promise you that your dream is finished. Nobody can accurately predict what you're actually capable of, because that story hasn't finished being written yet, and you're the only one holding the pen. If you're willing to walk through every single thing required to get where you're trying to go, who exactly has earned the right to stop you? Nobody has. It's your right to trust your own gut on this one. Nobody else gets the final say. Once you've put in the work required to stand where you're standing, look at your dream the way you'd look at a destination you fully intend to arrive at, not a wish you're simply hoping might happen to you by accident someday. I don't care what diagnosis you're currently sitting with. I don't care what circumstance has you convinced. The walls are closing in tonight. If you're not dead, this isn't finished with you yet. As long as you're still waking up in the morning, you are still in this game, whether it feels that way right now or not. As long as there's breath still moving through you, you can still make this happen. That's not encouragement dressed up as poetry. That's simply the literal truth of where you're standing at this exact moment. So get up. Not because it's easy, not because you feel ready, not because the fear has fully gone quiet yet. Get up because this hard season came to pass through you, not to move in and stay permanently. Get up because the story isn't over, and the only way it actually ends badly is if you decide right here that it does. You still have breath. You still have a fight left in you. Now go prove it, one solved problem at a time. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.